Hi, I'm Peggy Kelly. Good morning, Santa Paula. It's Thursday, and it is June 9th, which means tomorrow will be June 10th, and that'll be the beginning. So anyway, our guest today is Ron Merson, who wears many hats, as it were. He's not wearing any of them right this instant, but he's a member of the library board. He's an optimist in spirit and in club activity, and we're just going to have a little chat about just this and that, the elections, and maybe what's going on in Santa Paula. So anyway, Ron, always nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Same, Peggy. I always enjoy visiting with you.
Thank you. I'm trying to get something off my screen, so you'll.
That's okay.
Can you see me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, then I won't worry about it.
Yeah, you're fine. Just for. Hey, Peggy, you mentioned elections, and I didn't get a chance to read the paper yet today, so I know I'm busy doing things. It's sitting next to my chair.
Sure.
So, we can look and see what the results were, but I think a couple of questions. One that came up that we were talking about is I saw another paper previously that they were like looking at 14% or something of the people were going to vote. And I didn't know if that's what it turned out to be, but that seems like an awfully low number. Did you have any sort of impression about, well, first of all, what is the number and why are people not voting?
Well, number one, as of yesterday, they had just about a 22% turnout. They still have 57,000 votes across the count. Now, whether or not that's included or that will add to the turnout, I really don't know offhand, because a lot of those didn't come in until Thursday because they got into the mail. They have to count them. They have to do all that other stuff. So I'm a little baffled myself as to what the actual number will be. But it's just that it's too bad because at the last election, the presidential election, and of course, I guess that brings out more people, but we had an 85% turnout, which was a record. So it's really kind of hard to say. I was expecting more turnout.
Yeah, I would have thought. So I don't know why people. I don't know. Maybe they're frustrated by what's going on with all the other issues going on around the world and the country and so on. And that was pretty. What were there? How many for governor? What was that? 46 or some
ridiculous.
Some huge number of people running for governor. I don't quite understand that. I mean, shoot, I could have put my hat in the ring. I'd probably have qualified to some of those people.
Sure, absolutely. Listen, and the irony of that is...
No, it's the recording that I'm transferring.
Yeah, I don't know how many people with their name on the ballot. And look at how much money was spent on that election. So maybe people thought, well, their main vote was going to be for the governor, and perhaps it was for Newsom. But I already voted for Newsom, so I'll catch him in November if he's even in the runoff.
Yeah. So,
I guess automatically there's always a two-person race. Excuse me, I'm a little tired between graduation and the elections and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little punch.
So, what is your impression? I mean, what were the top 2 or 3 key issues in our county and affected our city? What do you think locally?
Well, the district attorney's office is always going to affect our city. And I wasn't surprised that Eric Redsko was elected, and he was quite heartily elected. It was last county was about 17 points ahead and well over 50%. And John Barrett, who ran against him, I should say, he's a really good prosecutor. But I think that with Eric, with present district attorney, I think he did very well, considering also that he had been appointed just a couple of years ago. So I think that was notable right there.
Yeah.
He did. I think it's interesting that I think the sheriff's race, which of course, we rely on the sheriff for services as far as mutual aid and things like that, as they rely on us. So, but I think that was also an interesting race because it was a very aggressive race, which we're not, we're very polite in Ventura. I thought that one really got pretty heavy-handed.
Yeah. It was a divide between them.
Yes, there was a definite divide. There was a definite level of anger, and I know, and a lot of the opposition to to uh, Sheriff AU, of course, centered on his policies when it comes to, I guess, the communication. But I heard louder from what I saw and all the materials that were sent out that there's an issue where he had, of course, was a little kept a closer eye on the budget and was doing things that the union didn't particularly appreciate, and they're very, very powerful. They really are, the sheriff's at the union, and of course, and they're all brothers in blue. But the irony of that one is that AU's got all the endorsements from all the police chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
99% of the police chiefs back AU, and I think AU's been a good sheriff, and I feel that Triumph is a good sheriff also.
Yeah. So
a lot of dissension, and I think it showed in the results too.
Yeah.
That there was a lot.
Has there been a conclusion on that yet?
It's boy, I don't think there's going to be any. I think it's a far gone conclusion at this point that Triumph is going to win this election. I mean, he's pretty far ahead.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he's quite a bit ahead. He's quite a bit
interesting.
Yeah, and so I don't know if they're going to even get it.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
We've got 57,000 votes out. So, once again, he would have to get a very large percentage of that, but 57 is a lot more than what the difference is between he and, Sheriff Trial. So, who knows? You never know. You never know to the final vote.
So, what was going on with what about the A and B thing?
A and B is another very interesting race because when the first results came in on Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock, or shortly after 8 p.m., A and B was ahead. Now, A and B weren't ahead, and by ahead, I mean the people that voted yes on A and B. That was ahead, and it wasn't huge, but it was ahead. But then they got in all the votes. The next week, they had gone down. And they're now actually, I don't know if they're going to recover or what's going to happen there too. And they're behind now more than they were.
Oh, that's another volatile issue. Huh. That might take they'll probably have to wait until all the votes come in because if it's swinging like that, it could go the other way. So.
Yeah, well, and the thing is too is that's one of the most expensive elections for this. Actually, it's the most expensive election so far in Ventura County's history. Yeah. And I did a rough estimate because the No People had they've got a war chest just about $8 million. I think they spent about $6 million so far. But just considering their war chest of $8 million. And at one point, they had approximately 110,000 votes. And I figured that each vote at that point was costing $72 a vote. So that's a lot of money, And the funny thing is if you look at it another way, with the oil museum, they, of course, our oil museum is closed now temporarily. But the oil museum had said that it took them $100,000 to get off. Well, if they had that $8 million, they could stay open for 80 years.
Yeah.
So that gives you some idea of how much money that is.
So another one that I guess out there is about the congressional race. Do you know anything about?
Yes, absolutely. I guess Matt Jacobs made up. That was another one that when the first results came in, Julia Brownlee had a very wide lead. I believe she was in the 60% of the voters. And then the other votes came in, and now I guess they're basically poised for a run in November.
Oh, she's been our friend too, so.
She's a good example. Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that there was another example. It's like I said, she was years ago, before people who used to do vote by mail used to be conservative voters. And then as time passed, more and more liberal voters started to vote by mail. So then, of course, with what happened and accusations of the elections being fixed and all that other stuff, I feel, and I'm sure it's true, more conservatives went to the polls on election day because they don't trust the system. So I think that's what probably gave Matt Jacobs his push, because there was a much, he had a higher return than he did at that point. And then after the next vote came, it was lower. So that, I think that proves the point.
Yeah. So are there any other issues you think that are of interest to us?
Supervisors would be interesting because I'm not sure yet if Claudia would be lieutenant. Because, no matter where the supervisor's from, they affect Santa Paula.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In Santa Paula. And Claudia De La Pena, who had been a city councilwoman for many years, she's done very, very well. And she was running, of course, against Jeff Burrell. That was her chief opponent, and Jeff had been our assembly member. And, so with the first ones, it looked like they were probably headed for a runoff. Now I'm not too sure. So we'll have to see on that one. And Janice Carvin in Moore Park, who's running for Hoover seat, who's retiring. And of course, I forgot to mention that Jeff Burrell and David Penna are running for the Park seat. And it used to be just $1,000, but now it's Cameroon since the redistricting. That's why Jeff Burrell was able to run. Because it was right over the nail grade. Yeah, exactly. So that's why he'll get the race. But as far as what happens in Moore Park, another name from Santa Paula, Bernardo Perez, who, and the funny thing is I've known Bernardo for years, and I can't remember exactly what he was involved with when I first met him. But anyway, he just might be in a runoff with Janice Carter. But we'll just have to see on it. And they're running for, of course, like I said, Bob Weavers and Bob.
Yeah. So that sounds like that's a pretty good roundup about what's going on. The other thing that I've been thinking about, it seems to me that there are a lot more activities going on in Santa Paula, different organizations. Like I noticed the Park and Rec is more than just one or two summer movies. I think they've gotten some federal money or something to stimulate activities in the community, and there's a series of movies. I think there's 6 altogether this summer. We've already had one. We have another one this weekend. And then they're adding another event, an activities fair on the front of it. And then we've got, of course, the Chamber's got the thing where they have the music festival, but then they've now got the Citrus Music Festival, that 3-day event. Yeah. It's not the carnival rides. I think it's going to be I think it got kind of stale to me about the carnival rides, but this music festival, those people loved it when we were at that last event. And,
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they have a series
play area, of course, so people can bring their kids and get away. You're bothering me. I want to dance.
And there's plenty of crafts booths, that more so than you ever saw at the Citrus Festival. There's vendors coming in, and oh man, some of the you went to that music festival?
I was unable to attend.
There was a dinner plate there. I forgot, filet mignon sandwich. Did you hear about that? It's $32.
I bet it was worth every bite.
Oh yeah, people. And then like down there at the street at the farmers market, they got the lobster sandwich.
Main cousins.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this this music festival, a 3-day event. It's going to go late. I think Friday night it goes till I got it written down somewhere, but it goes till 10 o'clock Friday.
Oh yeah, it would be three days in July, near the end of July, I believe.
Yeah, it's the 23, I believe it is, or something like that. Yeah, well, I'll brag a bit. The Optimist Club will be there with some other groups, so we're going to be managing the parking lot again. They like us to do that. So.
And that's a really nice venue because they're doing all these now in the old Kmart site.
Yeah. Oh, it's
a 9-acre lot. And so there's plenty of room for parking and setting up the fun things.
And there's a front gate and a back gate, to get in and out. And there's different ways to get in. Plus the fence is already there, so we just roll it aside. And And John, the chamber had that guy come in and knock down all the weeds and stuff like that and clean the place up. That was nice too. So it was a very, very nice location for an easy access on and off the freeway. I think, and it's a series of bands, just one right after the other, either DJs and bands. So, and all kinds of music. I think that's going to be a great event. So there's a lot, going on in this town. I think the farmers market's still doing its thing, hanging in there. The last weekend of each month on that Farmers Market Friday, the last weekend is going to be no charge to nonprofits.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I believe like our Optimist Club is going to show up there and put on a little something for the kids or whatever, like make something or whatever, and have it just a booth to let people know we're in town. So
absolutely.
That's kind of our plan to try and fit that into our schedule, but. And then, of course, you look at the library, they got a lot of stuff going on. They're gearing up. Summer activities, things are coming back. So, I don't know, there's got to be a way. I know Wanda likes to tell people what's going on, but there's a lot going on out there.
I know there is. And Wanda's been, she's been back in rehab,
Well, tell her to get well for me, man. We need her. We need her.
That part Wanda, so she hasn't been able to do her columns in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So we just got to make sure we get her back up on her feet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been very nice visiting with you, Peggy. I mean, any last thoughts before we?
Too long. Well, I just certainly hope that when we have the election in November, that more people go out and vote and study the issues. I also, Peggy Kelly predicts, I think that this thing with Measure A and B isn't over even when it's over. I think there's going to be all sorts of things going on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, like I said, boy, it's, $72 a vote as of Thursday night. But when they get all the votes, I'm sure it'll be a lot less. It'll probably only be like 50 or something.
Yeah.
But I'll be doing a follow-up on that and all the other issues with you.
Right. Sounds great.
The mighty Santa Paula.
The mighty Santa Paula Times. We appreciate all your work for our community, letting us know what's going on. Anyway, it's been nice visiting with you. Glad you're looking well. Good to see you.
You looking well too.
Well, thanks. Until next time.
Okay. All right, everybody out there, have a wonderful weekend. Go to Veterans Park Saturday. They're having that spring into summer event, and that's going to be a lot of fun. They've got a lot of activities, and also I believe that night, according to Ron, they're going to have a movie in the park too. And that's so much fun. So, and it's free, so that's everybody's favorite thing. So everybody have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful day. We're Santa Paula, what more could you say? Thank you. And thank you so much.
Okay, well.
Talk to you soon. Okay.